Hello and welcome. Ready yourself for 52 exciting challenges that will test your knowledge. Which part of the plant grows underground? Roots, leaves, flowers. The correct answer is roots. Here's an interesting fact: roots grow under the soil to absorb water and nutrients. What do we need to breathe? Oxygen, water, sunlight. The correct answer is oxygen. Here's an interesting fact: humans and animals need oxygen to survive. Which body part helps you see? Eyes, ears, nose. The correct answer is eyes. Here's an interesting fact: our eyes let us see colors, shapes, and light. Which sense do we use to smell? Nose, mouth, ears. The correct answer is nose. Here's an interesting fact: our noses help us smell different scents. What do plants need to grow? Sunlight, water, and soil. TV and air. Moonlight and salt. The correct answer is sunlight, water, and soil. Here's an interesting fact: plants grow best with sunlight, water, and good soil. Which animal lays eggs? Chicken, dog, cat. The correct answer is chicken. Here's an interesting fact: chickens lay eggs which hatch into chicks. What helps you hear sounds? Ears, hands, feet. The correct answer is ears. Here's an interesting fact: our ears pick up sounds from our surroundings. What is the name of the gas we breathe out? Carbon dioxide, oxygen, hydrogen. The correct answer is carbon dioxide. Here's an interesting fact: we breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. What is the largest part of a tree above ground? Trunk, leaf, root. The correct answer is trunk. Here's an interesting fact: the trunk supports the tree and carries nutrients. What are young animals called? Babies, eggs, fruits. The correct answer is babies. Here's an interesting fact: most baby animals are called babies or have special names like kitten or puppy. Which sense helps you taste food? Tongue, nose, Ears. The correct answer is tongue. Here's an interesting fact. The tongue lets you taste things like sweet or sour. What keeps us warm during winter? Clothes, water, food. The correct answer is clothes. Here's an interesting fact. Warm clothes help keep our bodies warm. What are clouds made of? Water droplets, feathers, cotton. The correct answer is water droplets. Here's an interesting fact. Clouds are formed from tiny water droplets in the air. Which season is the coldest? Winter, summer, spring. The correct answer is winter. Here's an interesting fact. Winter is known for cold temperatures and sometimes snow. Which part of the body helps you walk? Legs, arms, eyes. The correct answer is legs. Here's an interesting fact. Legs help support your body and allow you to walk. What do bees make? Honey, butter, juice. The correct answer is honey. Here's an interesting fact. Bees collect nectar from flowers and turn it into honey. What do fish use to swim? Fins, wings, legs. The correct answer is fins. Here's an interesting fact. Fins help fish move through water. What do humans need to stay alive? Food, water, air. Toys, candy, games. TV, books, puzzles. The correct answer is food, water, air. Here's an interesting fact. These are basic needs for all living things. What is the sun? A star, a planet, a cloud. The correct answer is a star. Here's an interesting fact. The sun is a giant star that gives light and heat to Earth. Which animals live in water? Fish, cats, monkeys. The correct answer is fish. Here's an interesting fact. Fish and other aquatic animals live in oceans, lakes, and rivers. What helps plants make their food? Sunlight, salt, wind. The correct answer is sunlight. Here's an interesting fact. Plants use sunlight in a process called photosynthesis. What are baby dogs called? Puppies, kittens, calves. The correct answer is puppies. Here's an interesting fact: a baby dog is called a puppy. What part of the body helps you hold things? Hands, feet, ears. The correct answer is hands. Here's an interesting fact: hands help us grab and carry objects. Which of these can fly? Bird, snake, fish. The correct answer is bird. Here's an interesting fact: birds have wings and can fly through the air. What changes from a caterpillar into a butterfly? Caterpillar, worm, bee. The correct answer is caterpillar. Here's an interesting fact: caterpillars turn into butterflies in a process called metamorphosis. What are rocks made of? Minerals, plants, water. The correct answer is minerals. Here's an interesting fact: rocks are natural solids made of minerals. What happens when ice is left in the sun? It melts. It grows. It turns to stone. The correct answer is, it melts. Here's an interesting fact: ice changes to water when it gets warm. Where do polar bears live? Arctic, desert, forest. The correct answer is Arctic. Here's an interesting fact: polar bears live in icy cold places near the North Pole. What helps you digest food? Stomach, feet, lungs. The correct answer is stomach. Here's an interesting fact: the stomach breaks down food so your body can use it. What covers and protects your body? Skin, eyes, hair. The correct answer is skin. Here's an interesting fact: skin is the body's largest organ and protects everything inside. What is a habitat? A place where animals live. A toy shop. A kind of food. The correct answer is, a place where animals live. Here's an interesting fact: habitats are natural homes for animals and plants. Which part of the plant makes seeds? Flower, stem, leaf. The correct answer is flower. Here's an interesting fact. Flowers help plants make seeds to grow new plants. What do we call water in gas form? Steam, ice, rain. The correct answer is steam. Here's an interesting fact. Water turns into steam when it is heated and evaporates. Which tool is used to look at stars? Telescope, microscope, clock. The correct answer is telescope. Here's an interesting fact. A telescope helps you see faraway objects like stars and planets. What do we call animals that eat only plants? Herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. The correct answer is herbivores. Here's an interesting fact. Herbivores are animals that eat plants. How many legs does an insect have? 6, 8, 4. The correct answer is 6. Here's an interesting fact. Insects like ants and bees have 6 legs. What do you call the movement of Earth around the Sun? Orbit, spin, roll. The correct answer is orbit. Here's an interesting fact. Earth orbits the Sun once a year. What is rain made of? Water, air, dust. The correct answer is water. Here's an interesting fact. Rain is made of water droplets falling from clouds. What do you call the outer layer of Earth? Crust, core, mantle. The correct answer is crust. Here's an interesting fact. The crust is the outermost layer of the Earth. What helps birds fly? Wings, tails, fins. The correct answer is wings. Here's an interesting fact. Wings help birds lift off and stay in the air. What part of the body helps you smell? Nose, mouth, eyes. The correct answer is nose. Here's an interesting fact. Our nose detects smells in the air. What do we call water falling from the sky as frozen flakes? Snow, rain, mist. The correct answer is snow. Here's an interesting fact. Snow is frozen water that falls when it's very cold. What is a young frog called? Tadpole, chick, Cub. The correct answer is tadpole. Here's an interesting fact. Tadpoles hatch from frog eggs and grow legs as they turn into frogs. What is the job of leaves? Make food. Store water. Grow roots. The correct answer is make food. Here's an interesting fact. Leaves use sunlight to make food for the plant. What helps you chew food? Teeth. Tongue. Ears. The correct answer is teeth. Here's an interesting fact. Teeth break food into smaller pieces for swallowing. What happens to a shadow when the light source moves? It changes. It disappears. It becomes louder. The correct answer is it changes. Here's an interesting fact. The position and shape of a shadow change when the light source moves. What do we call the change from day to night? Rotation. Zoom. Reflection. The correct answer is rotation. Here's an interesting fact. Day and night happen because the Earth rotates on its axis. What do penguins use to swim? Flippers. Legs. Wings. The correct answer is flippers. Here's an interesting fact. Penguins use their flipper-like wings to move underwater. What does a thermometer measure? Temperature. Weight. Speed. The correct answer is temperature. Here's an interesting fact. A thermometer measures how hot or cold something is. What do we call the changing of water into gas? Evaporation. Freezing. Melting. The correct answer is evaporation. Here's an interesting fact. Evaporation is when liquid water turns into vapor. What does gravity do? Pulls things down. Pushes things up. Makes things louder. The correct answer is pulls things down. Here's an interesting fact. Gravity is a force that pulls things toward Earth. What is the sun made of? Hot gases. Rocks. Water. The correct answer is hot gases. Here's an interesting fact. The sun is a ball of hot gases like hydrogen and helium. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Stay tuned for more exciting content, and we'll catch you in the next one.